Folks, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to get started in just a handful of minutes, 5 minutes or so, give our guests a chance to arrive. Just a few housekeeping items. If you do need to use the restrooms, they're located just to the left of this room. So if you exit those doors and go left, and as I said, please help yourself to food, get comfortable, and we'll get started in about 5 minutes. Thank you for joining us. All right, folks, let's get started. Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining. My name is Eric Meinert. I work with Deb here at Capitol Lakes to tell the Capitol Lakes story. Why do people choose to move into Capitol Lakes? What is the lifestyle like? And we're going to also answer an important question today. What's the difference between a BLT and a CCRC? And it's tough to say, but we'll cover it. I think you'll know thoroughly by the time the presentation is done. I'm going to talk in the beginning about the CCRC concept, continuing care retirement, what that means. Then Deb's going to join us in the second half of the presentation and talk about Capitol Lakes specifically. What is it like to live here every day? So Deb, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We're glad to have you.
Looking forward to you getting into the specifics. Okay. But let's get started. Before jumping into the presentation, I wanted you to know me a little bit better. I live in Medford, Oregon right now, but I'm not from the West Coast originally. I grew up in Northern Virginia, outside of D.C. And you might wonder, how does somebody from Virginia end up in a small town in Oregon? And it was just simply a voice that beckoned me. Go west, young man. It was the voice of a roommate who, after college, had moved out west. He was pursuing a lifestyle that I think is known as being a ski bum, is the technical term. So he moved out and he called me. He said, Eric, I think you'll like it here. You're just going to have to trust me. And trust him I did. I packed up my belongings, drove across the country, made a stop here in Wisconsin to see a friend, went through Nebraska to see another friend, and then the long haul to Oregon. And when I got there, 3 things promptly happened. The first, he was right. I fell in love with Oregon, the natural beauty, proud to call it my home. But the second, far more important, especially for the arc of any story, I met a girl. She is now my wife. We have 2 beautiful children together. And the third is I found a job I love. I love working for Pacific Retirement Services with communities like Capitol Lakes, telling people about this lifestyle, helping people make this big decision. It's really what I love to do, and I'm privileged to be here today talking about it with you. So this is the agenda for today. First, we're just going to look at options. Where can you live in retirement? Where can you enjoy your retirement? And we'll jump in and define continuing care retirement community. What is a CCRC? Why do people choose continuing care retirement communities? We're going to talk a little bit about successful aging. This is a term you'll hear a lot over the next coming years. One of the stats bandied about is that 10,000 people a day for the next 20 years will turn 65. 10,000 a day. So you'll hear more and more about aging successfully. How is this wave of folks going to live longer, healthier years? Then, as I said, Deb's going to get into specifics. Capitol Lakes. What are we all about? What are our lifestyle like? How about the dining program? You're tasting a sample today. What's the dining like here? How about accommodations? Where will I live? We'll certainly cover fees. How much does this all cost? And give you some clear next steps. There will be an opportunity to take a tour this afternoon as well. So, retirement options today. Where can you live and enjoy retirement? The first option is one I think we're all familiar with, staying at home. And this is the option the vast majority of the country will choose. I just want to stay right in my home. And I think there's very good reason for this. The truism, the home is where the heart is. It's a truism for the reason. Your social network's there, your friends, you raise your family. It's where you want to be. And more people will choose to stay at home. But I think there's a reason people stay at home that's not a good reason, and that's the idea that leaving your home and moving to a community like this is somehow giving in to old age. It's somehow losing your independence, which is linked to the home, and you're going to admit that I'm going to go to a senior community and the attendant stereotype. And actually, this was recently covered in the New York Times on Tuesday. They talk about the idea of being imprisoned at home, and a recent study came out to find that over 2 million people are what the scientists consider homebound. They're just staying at home, even though they're now stuck there. It's a remarkable article. They talk about people in assisted living actually getting out and about, having more activity than some of these folks staying at home. And even though that article validates a belief I've had for a long time, why people stay at home, it's never been validated more for me than my grandmother validating it. She called to talk about retirement options based on what I did. These very slides I'm sharing with you. And she said, it's time to consider this. We've had a hard year. Grandpa's health's gone downhill, and it's been a hard year. They live in a small town, Algona, Iowa. I don't know if anyone's familiar with it, but the town of Algona, they used to escape the winters to Arizona. And suddenly they couldn't escape, and my slight 80-year-old grandmother spent the year shoveling snow. And they spent the next winter shoveling snow. And that was enough to make her look. And at the end of the conversation, I will never forget what she said. I've shared it for 5 years. She said, "Eric, this is very helpful. This will be good information one day." I thought, one day, Grandma, you've described how this past 2 years have just taken it out of you, how you feel older than ever. She said, "We are not ready to be old people just yet." And unfortunately, that kept her in her home, that alone. And they stayed and got stuck in the home, and they now live in an assisted living community, all because of that fear. So I implore you, if you take anything away from today, stay in your home because you love it, because it's the lifestyle you love living, because you have a plan in place. Do not stay because you fear old age. You might see people here today who are old, who are 98. I can tell you from working in these communities for nearly a decade, these 98-year-olds are having more fun and more activity than probably most of the college students down the street. This is vibrant living at its finest, anything but the stereotype of old age. The next option, another valid one, moving in with family. How many people have this plan for retirement? Now, I actually had a woman stand up one time. She almost yelled at me incredulously, "They're moving in with us!" Now, moving in with family is an option. We have to consider it, but it's not one you plan for. It's not the preferred option. Moving to a rental community is a good option. It's one many people will consider. Good news for you, with those 10,000 people a day turning 65, there are more options than ever. If you love RVing, you can live in an RV community in Arizona. If you love cruise ships, there's communities on cruise ships. There's a community for just about everyone these days, and more are being created. The one problem with this option, it's a great lifestyle, maintenance-free living, is the lack of health care. So should your health change, you're going to have to move again. Many people, this is a big move from your home to a community. And why move twice? So you still live with the nagging, what if? What if my health changes and I have to move to a community? And where you move in those cases is the next two options, assisted living or skilled nursing. These are always moves made under duress. 11th hour, children fly in, help you make the move under health circumstances to find a community. And I've never had anybody say to me, "Eric, you know, my plan for retirement, I just can't wait to move to the skilled nursing facility down the street. I love what they're doing at Golden Gardens. I can't wait to get there." Now, these are the fears. What if I have to move to skilled nursing? What am I going to do? What's the plan? And that's where a continuing care retirement community comes in. A continuing care retirement community is really the best of all options. It's a vibrant, independent living lifestyle based on your terms, the life you want to live, but without that nagging what if. There's a plan in place for health care should that need arise. Many people who move in describe it as a gift they gave themselves, a gift they gave their children, to know that this decision was made and we didn't have to make it in the future. So to summarize, again, that active lifestyle, living the way you want to live, enjoying life to the fullest every day, a variety of housing options. It's not one-size-fits-all living. Retirement communities in the 60s were one-size-fits-all living. There's never been more choices. Today, I think in this very room, there was a showing of the movie A Girl with a Pearl Earring. Simultaneously, there was a Zumba class. Simultaneously, there was a yoga class. And there's so many options for living in a community like this. It is maintenance-free living. You can focus on living that life without worrying about mowing the lawn or, like my grandma, shoveling the snow. A monthly fee expense you can plan on. This is helpful to have a planned monthly fee expense so I can plan into the future. Do I have the resources to live the life I want to live? As I said, that lifetime healthcare plan, skilled nursing, assisted living, memory care right here on site, so a plan's in place. And that lets people live with peace of mind and security. And that's why people move to continuing care communities like Capitol Lakes. So just to summarize, I want to see if we successfully answered this question. We have a BLT on the left, bacon, lettuce, tomato sandwich, and Capitol Lakes on the right, a sandwich and a CCRC. Surprisingly, there's some similarities I wanted to share. They're custom to you. Some people like BLTs on wheat, avocado. This Capitol Lakes lifestyle is custom to you. Live the way you want to live. It's easy. It's easy to make a BLT, and this is an easy lifestyle once you make the move. So much to be involved in. such a great way to participate, whether it's a class or an activity. You focus on living the life and not those nagging what-ifs. Perfect for summer. Residents last night went down to concerts on the square. Capitol Lakes in the summer is where people want to be. It's what you want to eat in the summer, too, with the BLT. But the critical benefit we wanted to express to you today is that a BLT is short-lasting benefit. You're going to enjoy it a short amount of time. CCRC is a long-lasting benefit. This is a choice. It's a big decision. But making it gives you this long-lasting peace of mind and security for the future. So I wanted to tell you a little bit more about Capitol Lakes. I think the BLT we all know well. I didn't want to devote a whole slide to it. But Capitol Lakes, a few more of the details. We're a nonprofit community focused on resident-centered activities, making sure that our residents have a great lifestyle here. Built in 1978, formerly Meritor. You might have known this location as Meritor. We actually have employees who have been here 30 years, almost the whole duration. You know, a wealth of knowledge of what it was like here a long time ago. There's a board of directors, and critically, a resident serves on the board, so residents have input to governance. When I talk about this lifestyle, when Deb talks about these amenities, when we talk about monthly fees, it's important to know that residents have a voice. They're part of governance. They also participate on advisory boards, so residents shape the lifestyle here at Capitol Lakes, and that's important for you to know as you make a decision. We also have a foundation to support residents who outlive their resources, who live longer than expected. It's important to note this is not a fund to support cruises around the world each year. I just got back from Bali and I'm out of money. Capitol Lakes, you need to pay the bill. But this is for residents who, through no fault of their own, outlive their resources. It's important for us with our nonprofit mission to be stewards of that fund and support people who do live longer than they plan to here. I mentioned Pacific Retirement Services, where I'm employed. It might have been a new term for you. We are actually also a nonprofit organization with 53 years of experience in retirement. We have 12 CCRCs in 5 states. We go as far east as here in Wisconsin and a community in Fort Worth, Texas. We have about 5,000 people living in our communities, and we are considered a leader in senior housing. You know, I mentioned Meritor was previously the manager of this community who ran Capitol Lakes. And Meritor said, you know, we don't want to be in the community business. We want to be in the hospital business. And PRS is in the community business. I want to talk to you about what we believe. First and foremost, it is community. We leapt at the opportunity to work with a community like this in Madison, such a vibrant community. We believe community living is the best way to live. But with our experience, we bring a track record of security and stability, how a community can operate. You know, the decision you make today, can you count on it 20 years later? This is a big decision, and we need to make sure that your financial is secure here, that there's stability, that the opportunities you have today, those Zumba classes I mentioned, that are still here 20 years from now. And our belief in community is not just backed up by our own experience, although that influences a lot. It's actually backed up by research. So when I say community living, we believe it's the best way to live, the best way to grow old. Successful aging. How much research is out there? This picture's an indication a lot. All of the literature, and there's going to be more and more each day, points to connectivity with others, to socializing, to participating in life, to, unlike the New York Times article, not hunkering down in your home and clinging to it. And we think the seminal study on successful aging is the MacArthur Foundation. It was a 7-year study, and they looked at the factors that control successful aging. How much of this is genetic? How much of how we age is genetic? For a long time, it was assumed genetics dictate it all. Choose your parents wisely, as they say. Now, why do some people are out rowing on the lake at 85 and others are at home, homebound? And what commonly held beliefs about aging are true and what are not? And they found 3 key findings, and Deb's going to detail how these findings influence life here at Capitol Lakes. Choosing your parents wisely was a fallacy. They speculated that only about 30% of how we age is dictated by genetics. They said that up to 70% is just lifestyle. If you choose your lifestyle wisely, you can age well. This doesn't mean the fountain of youth, but this means an enriching, vibrant life long into the future. First one's not going to surprise us, exercise. We all know the importance of exercise. Diet, also not a surprise. We know the importance of diet. But social connectivity was the key factor. And research after research continues to affirm this. Living with others, staying connected, participating in social fabric. And that's so important to what we do here at Capitol Lakes. We are a community. We are a vibrant place to live. So again, it's not the genes we're born with, it's lifestyle. And if you choose your lifestyle wisely, you can enjoy the lifestyle you want to live longer. It's really the key indicator here. Now with this, I'm going to turn it over to Deb. She's going to talk about some specifics at Capitol Lakes. This is Lou, a resident here. One of the things I think you'll notice first about why people choose Capitol Lakes is its location. In the heart of it all, the only community right in the heart of everything. And Deb's going to talk to you about the value of that, but also some specifics you might not know about Capitol Lakes, some other reasons people choose to live here.
Perfect, thank you. Great opening. Yeah, so I just want to take a minute and introduce myself. My name is Deb Thelbergy, and I've been here helping residents move into some fabulous apartments, starting their new lifestyle. 6 years of pure enjoyment is what I call it. I'm one of the lucky people who can actually say that they love their job. I know there are a lot of people who can't say that, so I really do consider myself fortunate. One of the things that I kind of want to talk about is my background. I came here, I had a real estate background. I've sold real estate in the Madison area for a good number of years. And so when I started with Capitol Lakes, I thought, real estate, I can do that. That's easy, right? I was very familiar with real estate. The first thing that I did when I came here, I thought, oh my gosh, how many apartments do we have? What's the square footage? How many one bedrooms do we have? How many two bedrooms do we have? So my mind focus really was on the real estate end. I will tell you, it did not take me long to figure out that really what we're selling here is a lifestyle. The apartments are nice, and don't get me wrong, we have the most beautiful apartments, and you'll have a chance to actually take a look at them today. But really what Eric kind of was talking about is the lifestyle, how important it is. We can all have a nice house. We can all have a nice apartment. But really it's the three things that he was talking about earlier that kind of make Capitol Lakes what it is. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about how that plays in with our community, our beautiful community here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the things that kind of set us apart. One of the things that I find that I always talk about, and especially for people who come here to take a tour with me that are from out of the area, is our downtown location. Obviously, the people who live here in the Madison area, you're very familiar about where we're located. You understand. So there's advantages to being downtown, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. We're going to talk about some of the amenities that we offer here. And during my tours, we not only look at apartments, but we mainly talk about what the additional things that we offer here, such as endless activities, lifelong learning, our connection with UW, and the residents, and I can only say this from what they tell me, obviously I don't live here, but our residents tell me that, gosh, Deb, when you're on a tour, is there any possible way that you can explain to people what it is that we do on a daily basis? And it is somewhat difficult for me to tell you, to stand up here, tell you the amount of activities, the amount of cultural events. You're within walking distance of the Overture Center, the main public library, the Monona Convention Center. So kind of the list goes on and on about the additional things that our location actually provides you. So we also do offer lifelong learning here. A lot of our residents audit classes at the UW. We also are the host site for so many different types of groups and organizations. So for example, Plato, I'm sure that many of you are familiar with Plato. They're retired professors from the University of Wisconsin who come in and give presentations on anything from history to science to travel. So really, I can tell you, if you have an interest in almost any topic, you probably could find a presentation that's happening here at some point during the month to attend. But you know, on a daily basis, we do. And again, when I have a new resident moving in, I say, you know what, you really kind of have to pick and choose what it is you're most interested in attending, because the list just kind of goes on and on. So that's a very nice thing to have. We also kind of talk about maintenance-free living, and I know that Eric had kind of talked a little bit about snow shoveling, and that's huge here, especially in Madison. Just those little small things that people have to do, and they find that house, just keeping up that large house, keeping up that large home gets a little bit difficult for you. So the nice thing to know is the security of everything that we do here for you. The other thing is that, with our downtown location, we are the host site. And I can give you a couple examples. The Audubon Society meets here. The League of Women Voters meets here. We're a polling site. So really the list goes on and on. Another example might be that the graduate students from the University of Wisconsin actually come here and give their final recitals. And so that speaks volumes, I think, even, not just us saying, hey, we have this great acoustic room called the Grand Hall. It's the professors that are allowing their students to come here to give a final recital. So that speaks volumes in itself, I feel. And of course, endless activities, which we'll kind of talk about in the following slides. So let's talk a little bit about physical exercise. As Eric had pointed out, there are three major components that were found in that study. So we're going to kind of circle back around and tell you, well, then how is it when I move to Capitol Lakes that I can enjoy and participate in these types of activities? So the things that we do offer, again, our downtown location, and if you're from Madison, I don't need to sell you on the fact of where we are. For example, I know that Eric had also mentioned the concerts on the square last night. Probably 20, 30, maybe even more of our residents attended that. We have a van that takes chairs up there. So all you need to do is walk from Capitol Lakes up there. You already have a seat, a box lunch. So it's the small little things that really kind of set us apart. The Aquatic and the Wellness Center. So as Eric had mentioned, also you'll have an opportunity to actually take a tour of the community this afternoon. And if the Aquatic and Wellness Center is something that you're interested in taking a look at, please let us know. We're happy to show you. It's a beautiful facility. We have 3 beautiful pools, offer all different types of classes, such as water aerobics. One of the nice new things that we started in there, which I thought, I can't wait to actually try it, is a water yoga class. So there's always something new, something exciting. And with the Wellness Center, I also wanted to mention that we do have our own personal certified instructors to work with you one-on-one, help you get set up on a program, because if you're like me, I walk in and I say, what's that machine for? So they're there to help you. They meet with you when you first move in, help you get acclimated, and and they do encourage you to participate. And it's so easy, you know, that some of the residents that I've helped move in tell me, gosh, Deb, before I lived here, I'd have to get in my car, drive down to the Princeton Club. Sometimes it's 10 feet of snow. I'm, you know, trying to get over to that. And some people say, I kind of feel like I already had that workout by the time I got there because my knuckles were so blue hanging onto that steering wheel. So it's really nice, and that's the things that I hear on a daily basis, is that, you know what, I wake up in the morning, I get out of bed, and I think, what do I want to do today? Well, one of the things that most people try to get into a routine of working out, so they'll go down, have a swim, maybe have lunch, then maybe go to a presentation in the afternoon, go to dinner at Seasons Restaurant, and there's an entire day. So it's nice and easy. A couple of the other things that we do offer in our wellness center that I personally think is great, massage therapy. We also I mentioned that we do have specialized certified instructors to work with you one-on-one, get you set up on a program. So we do offer personal training. So this slide right here is showing you an example of our pool area. So up in the left-hand corner, there's one of our instructors working, teaching, showing a class. And then on the right-hand side, we have a trainer and a resident working on some yoga and Tai Chi out in one of our nice little outdoor areas. And then in the lower corner, we have people working on just the equipment. And then not to mention, we are within walking distance of Lake Monona, which has that beautiful, wonderful path of miles of walking. So you're about a block away from getting on that. Oh, here's one of my favorite pictures. Some of you might recognize him. This is Kai Foget. He's one of our residents here. He and Karen have lived at Capitol Lakes over 10 years now. Loving every minute of it, is what they tell me. So he's enjoying and this is an actual picture from our pool. So if you, again, want to take a look at that, let us know. We'll be happy to give you a tour of that. The second thing that Eric had mentioned is diet and nutrition in the study. So I just kind of want to highlight a little bit about diet and nutrition and how you can achieve that here at Capitol Lakes. We do have 2 dining venues. We have Henry Street Cafe, which is open in the morning, and it serves breakfast. It opens at 8 o'clock in the morning. Then they also do serve lunch there. And we also, I want to add in here, we also have a nice food cart. And I don't know if anyone has been here and walked through our beautiful atrium, but we have a food cart, which is another option for you to use your dining allowance. And that's Monday through Friday, and it's great because it's just a nice social area where residents get together, might have sandwich and coffee and just a light lunch. It's just a real fun area to be in. And then we also do have Seasons Dining Room. And today on the tour, if you'd like to take a peek in there, we'd be happy to show you that as well. It is a beautiful dining room. Love it. And we'll talk a little bit more about the food and the programs. We do offer here, again, kind of going back to what Eric was talking about, the health style. We do offer vegetarian and healthy choice menu options. As a matter of fact, our menus have the little carrots to tell you what the healthy choices are. Sometimes I don't always make those healthy choices, but hopefully you do. Local and organic when possible. So with us being downtown, one of the things that we do here is we do buy organic as often as possible. We also work with a small farm. As a matter of fact, the strawberries on the table here came from that small farm. So we get a lot of fresh produce in, which is a nice little thing. It's great. I haven't tried the strawberries, but they look delicious. Superb quality, flexible dining program. So, you know, if you want more details exactly how our dining program works, we're happy to meet with you and kind of discuss that. But the gist of it is that we try to make it as flexible as we can so that it accommodates exactly what you want to eat. So, you know, I mean, obviously you don't want to eat in our restaurants every single day. I mean, you're downtown, let's face it, we have the old fashioned, we have steak houses, we have such wonderful restaurants downtown that you're not going to eat here all the time. You're going to be cooking in your apartment. However, when you do want to dine in any of our restaurants, you're going to be surprised and you're going to be happy. Again, nearby farmers market, so that kind of leads back to the freshness, the quality of the food that we serve here. And you know, you are within walking distance. Saturday morning we have the big farmers market. I'm not sure if everyone realizes, but we also have one on King Street that's every Wednesday, and it's a perfect chance for you to just hop down there, pick up a few things. Not quite as big as the one that's on Saturday morning, but still very, very nice. So up here, we have a photo of Seasons Dining Room. You can see up there, the round tables, that's kind of where the seating area is. We have a picture of a beautiful filet mignon. Makes me hungry just looking at it. And then the sea scallops. So, you know, we really go above and beyond. Our dining service is a step above any of the other communities that I know of. And sometimes people ask me, what makes your food so great? And I say, you know what? We are downtown. We have competition. We have to make it good. So they just do a fantastic job. Yes.
We can
no, you can ask a question if you would like. We do, and if you and I want to get together, we can discuss all those details at the end. That's a great question. Connectivity with others and challenging your mind. So how does Capitol Lakes help you with that? We really specialize in lifelong learning here. So it's not just moving into a community, buying an apartment, you know, you have this lovely apartment. It's more about being involved, keeping active, keeping your mind active, learning, participating, making friends. Again, this kind of goes back to our downtown location. Doesn't hurt. You know, being downtown, there are so many groups and organizations that want to meet here. So it allows our residents a fantastic, wide variety of things to do. You know, I mentioned Play-Doh. I mentioned a number of the groups who do meet here. And that doesn't exclude the groups and organizations which you're involved with. You know, maybe you're involved with whatever type of interest you have, and you have a group of people that you want to meet here. We have rooms for you to get set up in and participate at no charge. So, proximity to the arts district. Oh my goodness, so we're within walking distance of the Overture Center, which I don't think I mentioned, the library. Just the other day, I was at a little presentation at the Monona Convention Center, which I never think to mention, during a tour or a presentation, but a lot of our residents go over there, it's within walking distance, and participate in all of the activities that they offer, which is quite a wide variety. They have music. I know that over the summer, they offered a free meditation class to the public. So just great little activities for you to think about and do. And then again, I think the third time I've talked about concerts on the square, but you know what? It's such a great fun thing to do. And then not to mention, we also do have, it's a music presentation every Tuesday at noon that you're able to walk up. It's so much free music up on the square. And we do offer spiritual programs and opportunities, and of course we are an official member of the Wisconsin, the WAA. So let's talk about the social connectivity. We have in Independent close to 200 residents, so I bet most of you probably already know someone who lives here. Raise a hand if you know someone. Yeah, see, it's just amazing. It's a small world. So there are a lot of alumni here, a lot of people with very diverse backgrounds, abundant social activities that we've talked about a little bit. We've kind of touched base on that. One of the other things that we do offer here is a resident committee. So when you move in, we have a welcome committee that would be in contact with you. So that's one of the first group of people that you would be in contact with. They're going to call, introduce themselves, and really it's a nice way to get to know the community. They'll call you, they might invite you in for dinner, maybe lunch with some of their friends, just kind of introduce you into the community. And the resident committees themselves, I have a whole page of them. If you're interested in getting details on any of those, please let me know. I'd be happy to share those with you. It goes anywhere from music to art to whatever you might be interested in. And then not to mention volunteer opportunities. We certainly have a great host of things for you to do. Here is Professor Yi-Fu Tuan. I helped him move into the community, I believe it must be about 4 years now. And he still is very active at the UW. He still goes to campus each and every day. So it's a nice location for him to come right from Capitol Lakes to work and back. So, accommodations. So, like I said, when I first started work here, I kind of thought it's all about accommodations. But then I missed that whole last part that we just talked about. So now we can talk about accommodations. So don't get me wrong, we have top-of-the-line accommodations. We have high-end materials in all of our apartments. You'll have a chance to go and tour today. But we'll just talk a little bit about the details of them. We have a wide variety of apartments, and they go anywhere from 500 square feet to over 2,000. So I kind of say like it's the three bears. I can always find the right size for you somehow, some way. Beautiful finishes. So the finishes that we're talking about might be all of our cabinets, our wood. There are a lot of differences between the apartments depending on what people chose when they moved in. And there's also still a chance for customization in a lot of the apartments that are still available. But we use granite for all of our countertops. We use ceramic tile in the kitchen and the bath. We do beautiful hand-laid tile showers with glass doors. Some of the bathrooms have double vanities. So, the list kind of goes on and on when it comes to the amenities. I'm going to let you go ahead and take a look for yourself to kind of see what those finishes look like. And on here, we're talking about the large windows. Many of the apartments have a balcony or a patio. As you do your individual tours, the building, if you go straight out these doors, it would be main gate, and each apartment in there has a balcony and a fireplace. A little bit different than the Heights, but both buildings you can take a look at. I will tell you, I'm glad this kind of reminded me a little bit about the stunning views. The stunning views, I will tell you, some of the views are incredible from our apartments. It really kind of gives you the true isthmus feel of being downtown Madison. Some of the apartments you can actually see Lake Monona and Lake Mendota from one apartment. It's fantastic. Here we just have an example. The top photo is this is an apartment that's open today. It's one of our smaller apartments, but just to kind of show you the finishes, the beautiful hardwood floors. You have a choice of painting in the apartments, but this apartment will be open for you to take a look at. And then you can see down here the granite countertops, and then many of our apartments do, and they are furnished with the stainless steel appliance package. Talk about views. This is the one that I love. This is one of our residents, and as you can see, she's out on one of the balconies up in the Heights building, and in the background, you can see the courthouse and Lake Monona. Isn't that beautiful? And at this point, I'm going to turn it back over to Eric, and he's going to finish up by talking about the continuum of care. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deb.
Yeah.
That view is amazing there in that last apartment. I got to see it again. I didn't even know there was a lake here. So all of what Deb talked about is so important. Again, you're looking at moving from your home, debating, should we do this? Should we make this move? And one of the things you're considering is, what's my lifestyle going to be like right after I move? Am I moving to an old folks home, or I'm going to move to some place that's exciting, that meets my needs, where I can have fun, where I can do what I want? But it's so important to think about not just the immediate impact of moving here, all those events Deb talked about, all the activities, but what will happen if my health needs change? And that's what I wanted to go through. How does the continuum of care actually work? So we've talked a lot about independent living, this lifestyle, what you're doing each day for fun. But let's say, walking to concerts on the square, you realize it's time to schedule the hip replacement. So I go in and I have my hip replaced. And I'm going to be discharged from the hospital, and I'm going to go to Capitol Lakes Skilled Nursing and work with rehabilitation, physical therapist. I'm going to get better, and I'm going to return to my independent living apartment. Perhaps you know somebody who's done this, who's had to rehab in a skilled nursing facility. Unlike somebody who's discharged to any facility in town, you're here with staff you trust, with physical therapists who care about getting you back, with friends who can come visit you. And you can go to the dining room, continue to participate in your lifestyle. So the short-term aspect of skilled nursing is so important, and our program is designed to get you better, get you back on your feet. But let's say hip's going well, but my needs do increase over time. Maybe I dress like this every day, and I'm having trouble putting on my tie. I could get in-home care to come give me some assistance with the activities of daily living. It can range from dressing, medication management. Again, continuing to enjoy my lifestyle right here in the community with in-home care helping me. Now, where you really see the continuum start to be this huge benefit for you as let's say my health declines to the point that this caregiver is in my apartment a lot, and I need full-time help. I would move to assisted living. From my independent living apartment home to assisted living, I'd receive care there. Again, this decision's been made in advance. You're with staff who know you, around friends who can visit you. You're not as disruptive as you would be if you were in your home moving in an emergency situation. And there's also long-term skilled nursing. We talked about the short-term need, how you interact with skilled nursing on a therapy basis. We do have residents who require 24/7 skilled nursing care, long-term care. One of the benefits of Capitol Lakes is not just that care being on site, it's available to you at a discount rate. So we're going to talk about fees in a moment, but it's important to know that part of the fee you pay when you enter Capitol Lakes relates to discounted health care in the future. So long-term care here in skilled nursing at Capitol Lakes is about 50% of the market rate, what you would pay on the open market. So it's not just the peace of mind and security lifestyle benefit, focusing on this life without the nagging what if, there is a financial benefit to this skilled nursing care in the continuum. So fees, how much does it all cost? Becoming a resident involves two fees. The first is an entrance fee. This is a fee that you pay upon entry to the community, and there are two options for this. And as I mentioned, the thing that's important to remember about the entrance fee is you're securing access to this continuum of care for your lifetime. You're not purchasing real estate, although the real estate is beautiful. You are securing lifetime access to health care here at Capitol Lakes and that discounted rate. So the first option is what's called the traditional entrance fee. And this is a non-refundable fee. It appeals to people who want to pay a lower amount upon entry. Perhaps they don't have children, or if they do, it's not important to leave any monies for their estate or kids. They just want to live at Capitol Lakes and pay the lowest fee. The second fee is what's called a 90% refundable fee. This is an entrance fee where 90% would be returned to you or your estate if you left Capitol Lakes. Maybe you move here and you decided, you know, enough's enough. This snow has finally got to me. After 90 years of living in Madison, I'm ready to quit the snow. And you leave Capitol Lakes and move to Florida. That would start the process of getting your 90% of your original entrance fee back. If you lived here for the remainder of your life, you've lived at Capitol Lakes 30 years, and you pass away, 90% of your original entrance fee would be returned to you. This is the option that appeals to many people because they want to leave a legacy. They want to return money to their children or have the option to move out as they please. Again, the fee is going to vary based on size and location of accommodation. We've given you the starting ats for the traditional. It's $68,000. The 90% refundable start at $147,000. So those are our smallest accommodations here. At the tour or after working with the team, they can give you specific fees for specific accommodations. And again, this fee secures you access to the continuum of care. Complimentary short-term skilled nursing stays. So if you were to be discharged to skilled nursing, you wouldn't incur a cost if you were going to return to your independent living home. You know, you outstayed a Medicare stay, or if your stay wasn't covered by Medicare. It's a tremendous benefit to know you're not going to be charged a daily rate because you're a resident of Capitol Lakes. This temporary free program on short-term stays is a tremendous benefit for folks. And as I said, if that was a long-term need, you are going to be paying a reduced rate compared to the open market. The second fee that residents pay ongoing is a monthly fee. And this fee covers everything Deb mentioned, the litany of activities, all those services, the staff that are going to give you wellness programs and lead these classes, certainly the dining program, twice monthly housekeeping, transportation, parking. It's meant to cover all the expenses that you would incur, basic TV, natural gas, water, sewer, trash. This is a fee that covers this lifestyle and your normal monthly living expenses. Those fees range from, for a one-bedroom, about $1,200 to $2,800. So that's the one-bedroom range. And when you think about this array of services you get, a lifetime health care benefit, and this activity that keeps you busy, if you were to participate in it every single day, I think $1,200 is a song for that when you think of what you're getting. If you want a larger accommodation, 2-bedroom, those range from $2,700 up to just above $5,000. That's for the largest 2,000 square foot apartment. A second person fee is an additional $600 a month. That covers things like the increased meals, increased housekeeping, the increased expense of a second person. So that's the monthly fee range. Again, the team would be happy to provide specific fees for apartments. They are going to vary by floor plan, and it's hard to give an exact amount because, as Deb said, part of the job of the team over there is to help you find the right floor plan for you, help you find the right timeline. When might you make this move? With that, I want to talk about next steps. You're on step 1, and I congratulate you for it. It's a hard step to even consider leaving your home. But understanding your options is what you have to do. You are in a position to choose how to spend your later years. Is it going to be at home, hunkered down, hell or high water, we're staying here. We're staying at home. And people choose that. And if that's your choice, I think that's perfectly valid. But understanding that you're making a choice is so important. This is my plan for the future. Compare us to other communities. As Deb said, you need to tour. You need to see what it's about. You need to see if this fits your needs. Don't just look at us. Look at your other options around here. If you want to move somewhere else, look at your options in other areas. If you've always wanted to return to your alma mater in Florida, look there. Understand the choices. There are a lot of communities. With us, you can schedule a personal tour. The team would be happy to show you around and talk about your specific needs. You can stay overnight in a guest stay program, which is a great way to find out what it's really like to live here. Sit down at dinner in Seasons, have fabulous sea scallops, and ask residents what it's like to live here. You can actually just meet with residents here. Stop somebody in the hallway, ask what life is like. One thing they tell me all the time, I've heard from so many, I should have moved sooner. I should have moved sooner. And one of the amazing things about residents at all communities is you'll visit with them, you'll meet. There's big smiles and such complimentary words about the community, and people always ask, you pay residents to say these great things? Say, no, this is an enriching lifestyle. It's vibrant. People are happy.